guy. What's up?
What up? What up?
What up, man? Episode number.
7.
Six,
What?
seven.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, what comes before before seven?
Little special.
Nah, we're not about that life now. We're gonna have to let that go soon. We're gonna have to let
Facts.
that. When is that gonna die down? Actually,
Maybe 2027. Nah, that's about a year. Give it a year. Solid year.
you're gonna bring that 8-9 or something stupid. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. So, hey, Trey, we're joined tonight by my guy Josh Miller. Josh and I have known each other for quite a while, man. We used to play sports together. We used to do some flag football. We played. I mean, if it had some competitive aspect to it, we're doing it.
Facts.
And man, I actually got to know Josh just from that, just from playing sports, and that's why I love literally just competing and playing sports, man. You meet people from all different like walks and people you probably never meet if you didn't play sports. And so back in the day, we used to play flag football,
Yeah.
and man, Josh was one of the quickest guys. Acceleration and top speed was really he was really fast. And I'm gonna give you your flowers because you were him when it came to speed, bro.
You said was and were. I hear you. I get it.
So Josh, since what that was like maybe 18, 20 years ago, whatever it was, you have had a son,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a father, you're a business owner,
Yep.
and actually happen to be a coach now too.
Yes, sir.
And
Loving it.
so tell me where you're coaching and just maybe give me a quick intro on you.
Okay. Yep. So you're right. I have a son. He's 17. He plays basketball. His name's Jacoby, as you know. But yeah, I coach. So I started coaching. I kind of got my taste of coaching a few years ago when I was the assistant coach at Vandalia Christian School. It's a high school here in Greensboro. Well, a buddy of mine who had played at Wesleyan back in the day, he was their coach. He ended up, understandably so, it was a crazy situation, but he ended up kind of quitting midway through the season because of parents, and you know how that is. I mean, just as far as hearing all the stuff, you're trying to help kids and all that, and then you get the outside stuff. So that was annoying, I'm sure. But either way, I stepped in, took over for the rest of that season. It was fun, loved it, got my taste in it, and then I started coaching a little bit in AAU too. Well, then this past year, they let me be the assistant coach at for the varsity team at Vandalia again because my son plays varsity now. So it's definitely a joy doing that, and I'm loving it so far. I think we're right now 4-3, so we're doing good. Much better than they were last year, which was like 1-19, but that's okay. We're getting better. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Trey, you met Josh the other night. You know his team, his varsity boys team came to play our South Guilford boys team, and we'll get into that in a second. And then our right after that, our girls played Calvary Day, and we'll get into that too. But Trey, you would like Josh because Josh is passionate about teaching the game the right way, and allowing his players to and he's just in constant learning mode. Him and I will pick up the phone and talk, and he's a sponge, and he teaches me things that like I said, that I like to hear, and we just kind of banter back and forth, Trey. So he'd be our kind of guy. So, man, I'm excited to have you on the podcast. But I think the first things first, we got to hit the hard questions like hard right away, fast. We,
Okay.
we can't delay this thing. So
Let's
I
get
have
it.
to ask you, man. We always go with our Mount Rushmore. So Mount Rushmore, as you know, has top four. And
Yep.
so I got to get your top, even though you're a healthy eater and you're a gym guy, a gym rat as they call them, but give me your top four flavors of ice cream.
Oh, okay. I want to first comment on the Thanksgiving thing, the turkey and the ham from I've seen your podcast before. Definitely ham. Turkey is the one of the
There
most
we go.
overrated food. Is dry. Even when people say they make it good, I taste it. It's still dry. No, turkey's so overrated. That's why they don't eat it all year. Um,
Agreed.
yes, thank you. Yeah, I agreed with you. Yeah. So, ice creams. Yeah, you did. Like I don't eat that. Vanilla is definitely my number one. It's lame, but that's okay. Rocky Road. I remember that as a kid. I used to love Rocky Road. Is that the same thing as Heavenly Hash?
I don't think so. That sounds like something completely different.
Okay, I don't know. They look the same.
I don't
Um,
know. Are you sure that's ice cream?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know
There
what you're
is probably
talking
some heavenly hash out there, which I would love. Um, dang. And that's why our trade has his screen off. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go heavenly hash, Rocky Road, because one of those has a lot of marshmallow in it, and I like that. Vanilla and sherbet, like the green lime sherbet, because I put some Sprite in there and make like a little float. I'll go with that. That was
Yeah, I
throwback.
know that's like a party thing, isn't it? Like when you put that kind of ice cream in, and then put like I don't know if it's Mountain Dew or something. I can't remember, but I know what you're
So,
talking about. Oh, ginger ale or something.
okay, yeah, it's
Something.
some kind of float my dad used to make when I yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those four. I'm
And
gonna
I
go
had
with
to
that.
hit you. Yeah, I had to hit you with that one just because I kind of wanted to get an impromptu answer. I knew you would know nothing about ice cream because you eat healthy, and I
Right.
knew you would struggle with that one. So I felt like,
Yeah.
but that kind of leads into because your number one was what?
Vanilla.
Vanilla, and your nickname back in the day was white chocolate,
Oh,
right?
let's not go there.
Well, that's what I
Which I
called you.
hate
No
it
matter
because
what everybody else knows.
I like fundamental. Like, and so when it was white chocolate, he did all this, and I could do that, but I like what's his name? Stockton, and I want those guys on my team. Especially the older we get, we realize that the all the and one stuff doesn't win ball
The
games.
fundamentals. Now,
Yeah.
I will tell you though, I'll take Allen Iverson if I got to play
Yeah.
a
That
4v4
was
game.
yeah.
But now, okay, so now we went from the Mount Rushmore of ice cream, but now I'm gonna hit you with the hard one. Give me your top four Mount Rushmore of white players of all time. And
Let's
I'm
get it.
only this just happens to be a coincidence that you're on the cast when we ask this question.
Right, because I'm half
Maybe.
white. All right. I'm as white as they call me, as Irish. So let's go. I'm gonna have a sleeper for you as far as for me. He's on my Mount Rushmore, period, and that's Joker. I love the Joker.
Okay.
Um, he's definitely a top four way. Larry Bird, of course, gotta go Larry. That's my guy. He's probably my favorite of all time. Um, and then I'm not gonna go with any player that I've not seen play. So like Jerry West, Logo Jerry, I can't because I just didn't see him. Um, but I'll definitely go uh, Nowitzki. Give me some Nowitzki.
Yep, Dirk. Yep.
Yeah. And then here's kind of so Luca. I cannot stand the fact he doesn't play D. They hide him in the corner. But he's so sick offensively. And yes, he gets calls, but he plays that to his advantage. He's a wizard offensively. I do like his heart, his grit. Can't believe I'm saying this because I just don't like the flopping stuff. But those I would say those four: Luca, Dirk Nowitzki, um, the Joker, and Bird.
Well, I think you're going to set Trey off a little bit because there's a couple of guys that I'm thinking about. But Trey, I'm going to let you tell him why he is wrong and he left somebody off that list.
Yeah, I was trying to think as he was talking. I like the list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's some other good ones.
Where's Steve Nash at?
I like Nash defense again though.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Still,
I
yeah,
mean, I
which
love
is
Nash.
good.
The Nash
There's
dribble.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love teaching them the Nash dribble where you dribble underneath the goal and you can look back at the guy's cutting. I love that. I love Steve Nash. He's top 10.
I guess the only person I could maybe say is like Jason Kidd.
He don't count.
no, 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 no,
But
no.
he's one of my favorites of all time. Like if
Yeah,
not my
I
favorite point
agree.
guard. Because
Yeah,
I mean half of them counts.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. I love some Jason Kidd. He's got the size, the IQ through the wazoo. He was very underrated with his 3-point shot. I think he got a lot better later on in his career.
yeah.
But playmaking, pushing the ball, I mean, always at his speed. I loved him. In
Yeah.
college too, I loved him. But yeah.
I would say the only undisputed, like literally, you could not have him in your top four, no matter what you're talking, what era, saw him play, didn't see him play, was Larry Bird. You could just can't. And we talked about him before, so don't. We're not gonna
Yeah.
get into him again. But that's just the undisputed. Everything else, I think, could be somewhat argued about. I believe.
Yeah. Joker's hard. He should have six. I like five MVPs. Joel Embiid is not better than Joker. And then all the people in the NBA, when they ask who's the best player in the NBA, they'll say Joker. And they're more skilled now than they've ever been. Joker's tough to beat too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he
Outside
is.
IQ through the wazoo, triple double king, all that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna transition to like the basketball that we play or that we played Friday. I believe it was Friday. Friday we had games,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I know your boys team. Tell me a little bit about your boys team, where you guys are at, how you felt that game went, and then we'll get into the girls game.
Okay. I okay. First of all, I love my boys. And I've actually the top eight in our on our roster. I would say our top eight rotation guys. 5 of them have been guys that I've tried to work with for the last 2 years with Jacoby, because they're juniors now. So I started with them back when Jacoby started going to that school in ninth grade. And so when I saw their first year, I had to breathe. But I said, okay, they were probably 5-16, something bad record. So I basically said, all right, guys, at the end of that season, I said, y'all are going to get some gym memberships with me. I talked to their parents, and we're going to start a group text, even more than we already had. And I said, we're going to dedicate it. We're going to call it 1% better. We basically I wanted them to get better every single day. 1% better in the off season. We want to go to the gym, hold them accountable all season, talking basketball, sending them videos, all that good stuff. So the next year, we ended up going like 14-3. Changed the guy. I mean, it was like a Disney movie. It looked amazing. Our first game, we beat Woodland, bombing threes, playing a 5-out offense. Um, Kids are just, I mean, it's the whole culture, mindset, or whatever changed with those guys. Um, Great season. All right. So those guys are now varsity this year. Took a little bit, in my opinion, of a step backwards because they almost got real happy with how they got better and then felt like, well, we're good. We can kind of take the foot off the gas, which any athlete knows that's not what you do. You push it harder, that kind of thing. So they're seeing where we started off 1-3 this season. It kind of got to where I was telling the guys, like, look, the record is indicated is the same. It matches your work ethic right now. You don't have it. So they're starting to right now like the other day, last week, we're starting to really, they're texting me every day, coach, what do I got to do today? Let's do this. Let's meet up. Let's get shots up. So that's what I'm wanting them to do. I don't want to always be the one. I shouldn't be the one motivating them and that kind of stuff. So I think we'll end up at the end of the season, like we're pretty much we're hovering around 500 now. I think we'll have more wins than losses, which is a huge improvement from last year. We do have 2 seniors from the last year's team that was 1-19. Love those guys to death. I would say they're our top 2 of our top 3 players. Um, and we're starting to all kind of get it. There's things that I would rather do with the team that we're not doing right now. That's okay. I mean, like I told you, I focus on what we do have, what I do have, instead of what I don't have. So, long story short, I feel good, and I feel like we've kind of clicked that we got to keep the foot on the gas when it comes to our work ethic and our routines every day, and being basketball players, not just playing basketball.
Yeah, yeah. I'll let Trey chime in on this, but I felt like at least I saw I was able to see because we were in the locker room at the second half because
Yeah,
we're kind of gearing up for our game, so I didn't get to see the second half as much. But in the first half, whatever little bit I got to watch, at least the guys, I could sort of sense what they were trying to do, even when they
yeah.
physically maybe couldn't do it or just weren't. Either
Shots weren't
you're not
falling
tall
at
enough,
all.
you're not fast enough. But, boys basketball is pretty unforgiving when it comes to certain things. If you don't have certain athleticism, you can't match up here, you can't match up there. It's hard.
Right.
But I felt like I could see where where they were trying to do things, which I
Yeah.
liked quite a bit. What did you think, Trey? The boys team, the little bit you got to see.
Yeah, I mean, at least I feel like the hardest thing in today's sports is getting kids to compete, and I feel
Yeah.
like they were competing.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shots
you
were not
know,
falling. It was our worst shooting night of the season. Like statistically, our best player, I think he had 6. The game before he had 38. And it wasn't like the competition was different. It was just a bad game. Mentally, he was out of it. I don't know if something's going on personally, um, but yeah, not to cut you off, but our shooting was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, but I
that,
mean, it was still a game from what when we came out the locker room. It was still a
Yeah.
game, and they had a chance, and that says a lot about them and their
True.
willingness to keep playing the right way.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree with you, Trey, and that bad shooting juju followed us. So I appreciate
My
that,
bad.
Josh, for you bringing into the gym. We
Yep.
uh we afterwards I'm excited to kind of hear your take on this, but we ended up playing Calvary Day, and there was something about that game that had me a little bit, just concerned about how we were going to show up. I don't know. Sometimes I just get a little bit of intuition, and
Same.
I kind of said, we got to be locked in, and there's just a couple things here and there that I saw before the game that I was like, I don't like just the way this feels a little bit, and not that anything needs to be fully corrected or anything, but just and so we went into that game, and that was probably our worst game we've had offensively in terms of shooting and shooting percentage, and Uh, but I mean, Trey, was that the worst game we've played all season? You think?
by far. Right.
Yeah.
Nothing's in the same galaxy
But now, in fairness to the girls, the worst offensive game or the worst overall game?
overall. Even defensively, we wasn't locked in the way that we typically have been. There's been a couple games where we haven't necessarily played well offensively, but our defense is, bailed us out in some situations. And it's just like, the other team, they would make a couple tough shots and, then we have a mishap here or there. And, it was just a bad game overall,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. Uh, can I offer up? Now, I don't want to use it as an excuse, but I found it. It was the whole night felt off to me in terms of even trying to put my finger on even. And I Trey knows me, Josh. Like I'm not one to talk to officials or any of that. I don't complain about it. It is what it is. There are three people trying to use proper judgment on calls, and so I have so many friends that are referees, and I love all of them. I mean, they're fantastic people. We all have a job to do, and some days I show up as a coach and I don't do a good job, and sometimes they show up and they don't do a great job, and so we can't take the refereeing will never be an excuse for why we do certain things. But where I will say it was difficult is that I was having a hard time pinpointing whether they were going to call it loose or whether they were going to call it tight. And I think what happens, and this is my only gripe with the referees, is if you have three of you, you should come together and say, okay, we're going to call it tight tonight. And then
Right.
all three have to be on the same page. I felt like there was one on one page and two were on another page. And so
Yeah.
as an athlete, you're trying to figure out, okay, so what, how much can I get away with or what can I do? And so Trey, sometimes I felt like even on help side, we stopped doing some of the things that we know what to do because I don't know, we got in foul trouble. I know it's a little bit of an excuse, but I just couldn't put my finger on the officiating quite as well. I mean, did you see that from your side, Josh, from just a fan?
Yes, and I was across from you over in kind of in the corner over there, and I was in the visitor section, and they were even saying they're like, "Oh, we got away with that one," or because that travel where he dribbled, picked it up, lost it, went and got it, and you're like, I saw you kind of talking to him, and I was like, that's a trap. That's more or less just knowing the rules of the game.
Mm,
Like that wasn't a judgment call at all. That was just a blatant travel. But yeah, even the other fans, I was sitting over there, and they didn't know who I was going for. Um, but they even like, "Ooh, we got away with that one. Ooh, that was a foul. They did. Wow, we got away with that on that end. That kind of thing. So yeah, it was a little crazy. And they let us. It was the same refs we had, and I know Jacoby never complains. We play everywhere, and he gets grabbed and stuff. But they were all over him, and then when we would touch on some things which they were bad, they were actually bad for both teams when we
mm,
played. I
mhm.
think they were just consistently bad. But yeah, the fans definitely saw it, noticed it.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't want to harp on that too much because, like Trey
Right.
and I say, like you can't control external
True.
circumstances. They're people, and man, I like I said, I'm so supportive. I just
Mhm.
couldn't get a handle on it, even as a coach. Like
It's hard. Yeah.
it's hard to tell your players, like hey, they're calling it really tight, whatever. But
Yeah.
that kind of got us a little bit off rhythm because we got into some foul trouble. That made it a little bit difficult to maybe play, maybe
Your
the way we
style.
should do. And then offensively, Trey, I felt like we were getting, especially the beginning, got some great opportunities, just couldn't finish, and then it just seemed like it continued that way. Um, I completely, to be honest, it's I haven't watched film yet, Trey, to see where you know, sometimes when you don't finish it, there are some factors in that, whether it's the pass that led to the shot, whether it's the type of angle you took to the basket, whatever. I
Yeah.
have not looked at that yet, but it just felt like the basket had a little bit of a lid on it. What did you see from like just retrospectively, Trey, from the game?
I guess I am a lot more nitpicky about things just because, I think that's one of my abilities to pay attention to the details. But, I more so look at just the things that we were doing offensively. Like our spacing wasn't good. We wasn't getting into our actions. We had a really, really good practice Wednesday where I felt like that was probably the best practice we had all season as far as offensively flowing into our actions and getting in and out of things. But it just kind of left us on Friday. So I mean, really, that's the only thing. Like, because I don't, you can't really control shot making. I mean, because if
Right.
we could control it, every team in America would be making shots every single time they shoot. But can we help ourselves out? Can we create some space, maybe to free up maybe a couple more layup attempts and things like that? And I just thought our spacing wasn't good.
Yeah, yeah. I think what I do like about our team is that they are resilient, right? And we had
Yeah.
the only thing I was kind of worried about because we called a couple timeouts and thankfully there were a couple timeouts called that we were really good for us where they were called. And I remember the last time out, I told the girls, like, win or lose, I just didn't like our body language. And it became a thing for us, right? Like, I get you're not making shots, but we can't allow body language to be the thing whether, and I think there was maybe, I can't remember, Trey, we were down 5 or 6, maybe a couple minutes to go. And I said, we may lose, but we got to fix that body language thing. That's the,
Mm.
and then when we fix that, and we got after it a little bit. I think that's when the tide turned, and obviously a couple of factors. A kid on their team fouled out that was doing pretty well, I think, and that obviously hurt them. But yeah, I think Trey, you said it. Like good teams have to find ways to win, even when they're not playing the way they can play.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yep. The body language from the fan perspective, and I mean, obviously, I'm a coach that was being a fan, but um, I didn't know. I know that they have a tendency when they're playing, they played very intentional. I felt like their offense, their movement wasn't a lot of just ball hogging any of that. I mean, I was impressed with how intentional they were on offense, moving the ball. I think Issa does a really good job at that, getting everybody involved, making the right pass, having the right angle. But their body language to me, I know that it probably changed when they went into the timeouts. Like, God, blah blah blah. But out there, it almost like they just flipped the switch, and maybe that was after you basically said, "Hey, ladies, we gotta." That's an important thing because we know it as the coaches and adults, but sometimes we've got to preach that to them because that is a huge thing. Body language is huge, and so I did notice that their body language, especially towards the end, was like, "Let's get this," that kind of thing. So I was impressed with that too, the
Yeah,
intentionality and the body language.
yeah. When that changed, that kind of flipped the game, and
Yeah.
again, I mean, we can give flowers, to every player that came
Mhm.
in and contributed. Of course, I think Issa does so many things to help us win, and I can't give her enough flowers. And we always talk, Trey, about how solid she is as far as
Yeah.
just keeping us in games and not getting frazzled. Again, not her best game; she'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I
But
thought, it's funny. We talked about this with when the game was over. Courtney contributed a lot in different ways in that game. That if she's not doing what she's doing, we don't win. And Logan and Miriam and Amy coming back from being, she was basically not feeling 100% that week, and her energy still wasn't back, and she gave us some points, and so it really was some heavy lifting by I think Jordan came in and scored a basket and helped us out in that way. Miriam was helpful. So again, everybody, Layla, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I feel like it was really at the end. It was a team. It had to be a team win.
yeah.
Yep.
It definitely came across that way. Like they fought together as a team. Whether it was the little girl in the corner hitting the threes, your tall girl, blonde girl, she going up with two hands, strong and getting rebounds. I was impressed with that. A lot of them try to tip it, but I love seeing a good two-hand rebound, Kentucky two-hand rebound. But yeah, it was fun to watch. Even like when
Yeah.
you guys said it was the worst that y'all have played, I could see that team was a good team that had a bad game. But that's kind of impressive in itself to know that they had a bad game and they still, to me, look like a good team. That kind of thing. So I was impressed.
Yeah. I'll give Calvary Day their props though. They haven't had a girls program in a long time, and I feel like
Oh
their coach came out,
yeah.
very well organized. The kids warmed up with a sense of purpose and
Hmm.
came out of the locker room looking energetic. And so
Yeah.
it's the little things to me that matter, And I
Hmm.
thought I thought Trey, they looked pretty organized, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Whenever I talk about how bad we played, I mean, they had a huge part in that. I'm not taking anything away from them. Even the fact that, I mean, I think that's probably the first time in a game we've seen multiple defenses. Like, of course, every coach has their, okay, we're going from man to man to a 1-2-2. Well, if that's not working, they're going back to man to man. But I feel like they played about three or four defenses that they try to throw at us to keep us off balance, and they did a good job of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try not to give away too much on the podcast to put our team at a disadvantage, but I will say this: don't press us. We don't
No,
work out very well. So I think that was about two
One thing of
possessions,
X's and
and
O's. Yeah.
don't do that, coach. Don't do that.
Nope. We'll talk
Now we
off.
handle the press pretty well. I mean, normally most teams, it kind of is like the kryptonite, but I think we handle it fairly well. So you know, and I tell teams, you handle the press well, you won't get pressed often.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like that. So Trey, how do we? I mean, is this one of those games that we analyze, break down, and sort of stay fixated on, or is this one of those that like we said, like it's one of those games that the we just move on from, we learn from it, but we move on from it quickly.
we just learn and move on. You know, like because it's not like it was an effort thing. It
Right.
wasn't. It wasn't anything that we can control. It just happened to be a game that we just we couldn't control referees. We can't control making and missing shots. So we take it for what it is and move forward. As I told you at the end of the day, that I think we won the game from Wednesday's practice. I told you that we had a really good job, really good practice on Wednesday with our offense, but we got into some of the things that we did in that game, and some of the things that we worked on Wednesday ended up winning the game for us on Friday. So I think even we can go into practice and talk to the girls and make that a point to the girls that we really won that game Wednesday because of our effort and our energy and how hard we competed.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that, Trey. Now, how do we keep kids? And this is for Josh and for Trey, man. How do we, like, again, the holidays are coming up, so we're going to have some days off. You want to give the kids some time off to get their bodies, feeling okay. Like, give them a break. Basketball season's very long, but how do we do that without losing kind of where we're at? How do you do that without, like I said, losing everything we've done so far?
Trey, you want to take this first?
Um, I think we could kind of do what we did the other day. We missed out on I think it was like a game this past Monday or something, and we had like a little film session, and I thought the girls took that seriously, and I think that it helped us get better. So whether we could do something like that, maybe we could give them maybe some workouts to go do with their parents. Spend a little quality time with their parents or siblings or whatever, and do things like that just to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
Josh, what about you? Do you guys take
Yeah.
enough
So
time off to actually get any rest, or you guys just keep it going?
so I'm old school, but like I told you, I'm the assistant coach. If it was up to me, it's every day. And then when I say every day, it's because I tell them, look, I got a job, businesses and stuff like that. I'm still going to dedicate every day to you guys. I want you to do the same in return. It'll pass you by real quick, especially in high school. So every single day, you're supposed to get better, 1% better every day. That could be, like you said, film. Film is super important. The game that you just played, the team you're getting ready to play. I think it's super important. But so that's kind of a relaxing way to still get 1% better that day. But then it's always, if you're going to be a basketball player, there's not I'm a basketball player these months and this and that. It's all year. And if anything, I would enjoy knowing that I'm practicing while everybody else is at home being lazy today and that kind of thing. So I try to tell them, look, this is an advantage for us. We could use this as an advantage. Um, so I say, every day find a way to get better than your opponent so that when we come back from winter break, we've practiced a lot more than the team we're getting ready to play, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
No,
that's oh, go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
I say I'm there with you. You know,
Yeah, I figured you
uh,
were. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
If it was up to me, we'd be doing the same thing. But
yeah,
I just know the situation that we're in is a little different. So
mhm, yeah.
gotta roll with the waves.
Feel it. I've got a key to the gym now, so I'm in there. I'll tell them, this is not a practice, but it's open gym, so it's up to you if you want to come in and learn some things. And so, yeah, Saturday the next day we played Friday. Saturday we were in the gym working. There's a lot of middle schoolers in there and JV, and that's fine. I want to teach them all, help them all. So, but yeah, if you want to be good at something, you gotta do things different than what you're used to or what these people, what they're used to.
Yeah, there's some actually. That's what I was going to say is that there's some things that we can do as coaches in high
Hmm.
school to make these players better.
Right.
Uh, but one of the things that Trey and I've always said is like, I can't. It's not my job to get you in shape.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look tired on the court, that's not necessarily a reflection on us.
Yep.
That's a reflection on you.
Yep.
And I know the better players have a trainer they go to in the morning or whatever because we're homeschooled, and
Yeah.
they'll come and do practice in the evenings, or they'll find ways to get in shape. So for me, you got to come in shape.
Right.
I guess to me, I don't see it as being our job is basketball.
Facts.
And then, the other side is a lot of the improvement, a lot of the things that happen in the off season. Like we can only get you so much better,
Mm-hmm.
from when you come in at the start of the season. Of course,
Yep.
that's our job, is to continue to help you improve.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the improvements and the jumps that kids make is going to be in the off season. And I know
Right.
that's why Trey offers more than plentiful opportunities. If you want to get in the gym, I have
Yeah.
yet to see Trey say, no, I can't make it. Like he's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
But the kids have to be, we don't want to force that. We want to make sure that it comes from what they want to do, and then
Mhm.
obviously he'll facilitate, and he's a fantastic trainer. So, but anyways, we're kind of wrapping up, and but I'm excited, Josh, to have you, to call you a friend, man. I've known
Yeah.
you for so
Likewise.
long, and I feel like we just see things in very similar ways.
Very.
Have a lot of respect, for you and for the kind of dad that you've been for your son, and he's a quiet kid, but he's a super cool kid, and man, I'm proud of you as a friend, and I hope we can stay friends for a long time, man.
Sure. For sure. I felt the exact same way. So yeah. And I'm Trey. I'm sure you're cool too. Yeah.
Trey,
From
Trey
what
and
little
I,
I know, you're a great guy.
Trey and I've been riding together for a while, so that's my guy.
Nice. Love
But no, I appreciate you, Trey. You got any last thoughts before we head out?
We not pounding today.
Nah, you unpounded. I don't know what happened, but the
it.
Panthers kind of.
Got pounded by the Aints.
The Saints came marching in. They did.
Yeah.
Well, the Dolphins play tomorrow night in the cold, and so we all know how good Tua is in the snow. Um, so it's
Who are
gonna
they
be it's
playing?
gonna be rough. The Steelers in Pittsburgh,
Okay, I gotta go.
so that's gonna be
Yeah,
rough.
go put 100 down on the Steelers. Okay. They're gonna suck.
Yeah, but anyways, listen. So I'm Trey. We're gonna be in the gym tomorrow. We're about to have a really fun competitive practice. We're doing our Christmas party. Then we're at a Christmas tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we
Nice.
we, we call it a wrap before Christmas. But super excited to get back in the gym tomorrow. Again, Josh, appreciate you, love you, and
Yes,
Trey,
sir.
I'll see you tomorrow at the gym.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Adios.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.